What is up, everybody? Trying to see if you can hear me. Just make sure that you guys can hear me. Um, Waiting for everybody to get on before we get this show cracking. Stupid gnats. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me check something before. All right, just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, go ahead, put something in the chat for me. If you can hear me, put something in the chat. Hold on, just trying to make sure that some people can hear me, some people can't. I don't know. Hold on, I'm just trying to see if I can get my see if StreamYard is working right now. So give me a hot second. Just trying to make sure everything is copacetic. Hold on, I'm just trying to see if I can get my see if I oh we can oh okay, y'all good. Y'all good. So again, okay, so since that's good and I need to get off of that, I'm coming to you live right now. Getting ready to do a quick podcast on do toxic women ruin good men. So that's going to be the topic today on the Dre Mack Show. So this is now powered by StreamYard. So I got that hooked up. So you already know. If you can't stick here, most definitely go to any of one of my podcast site. I mean, go to iHeartRadio, Speaker Radio. You can go to Spotify, or you can go to my YouTube channel. This video will be on my YouTube channel also. So without further ado, let's get this thing in. Yeah. You just reached the hottest podcast in your ear right now. This is the Dre Mack Show. Now, without further ado, here is your host, Dre Mack. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast Show. Coming to you live now from Speaker Radio and coming to you live on YouTube, on Facebook, powered by StreamYard. So I would like to thank everybody for stopping in. If this is your first time on the podcast, make sure that you guys give me a like and share. Share this with your family, your friends. You can most definitely, again, check me out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Speaker Radio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts at. And again, I'm broadcasting live on Facebook right now. And today's subject, we're going to just talking about, do toxic women ruin good men? And I know that's a subject that a lot of people don't even like to talk about, honestly, which is actually kind of sad that a lot of people do not look at when men go through things. Like when you have a good man and he goes through things, and some women act like there's absolutely no good men around, which is probably their fault, because if you think there's no good men, you're going to attract people that's not going to be good for you. So there are good men out there, and there are good men that are ruined by toxic women. Now, what I mean by that, just like if people talk about toxic masculinity, and you can't talk about toxic masculinity if you're not talking about toxic femininity or feminine women. You can't talk about, oh, there's this toxic masculinity out here, and these men are coming to these women like this and that and the other. There's women that do the same thing to men. There's women out here that will take a good man and try to destroy him literally. And what I mean by that, they try to take advantage of the good guy. You know, there's some men out here that are just really good dudes. And they take these women, or these women take these guys, and they use them. And who have they learned that behavior from? It could have been from the way that they was raised. They could have learned it from their mom. They could have learned it from their sister or whatever. But something within their past said that I have to get over on people. And there's a lot of women out here, you know, that will get over on dudes. You see this all the time to get what they want. And that's the sad part, is that you got these women that try to get over and then be the same ones, but like, I can't find a good man. Well, if you're trying to get over on everybody that you see, no, you're not going to have a good man. So let's break this down a little bit. You got women, say for instance, you got a woman out here who has hyped themselves up, you know, to think, oh, I got this, I look good, I'm bad, I'm this, and whatever. And they say, well, you know, none of these dudes gonna take me seriously. So, you know, and it could have been one guy. It could have. Is it developed? Is it the guy who's been with a woman and that woman, you know, had a bad breakup? It took it the wrong way. It's sometimes a bad breakup can turn you into a person that you did not want to be. And I'm gonna just tell y'all, you know, I just finished up 5 months of therapy, and I've been wanting to do a podcast about this. So I'm gonna just tie this therapy session into this. I did 5 months of therapy dealing with the problems with my mother, because I didn't grow up with my mother. My mother was a drug addict when she had me, and then when she had an opportunity to get custody of me, she didn't do it. You know, she had, you know, it's 5 of us from my mother's side, you know, and I felt some certain type of way when she got my sisters, but didn't get me, you know. So I developed not necessarily a hatred for my mother. It was never that deep, but I felt a certain way towards my mother. And then when it came to women, in my life, and and you know, I grew up with, you know, my auntie, my grandmother, but you know, my aunts and my grandmother, and you know, my aunt Hazel, God rest her soul, she instilled in me to be, you know, a nice dude. Don't you know, do anything, you know, bad to women. You know, be there for a woman, emotionally, physically, whatever you need to do that. So I took that, you know, persona with me, you know, once I started dating in high school, and I was dating a particular person in high school, and I was super nice. Didn't, it was nowhere close to, you know, oh, I want to cheat on her or whatever. I was like head over heels for this woman. And then she turned around and did something that was real messed up. She cheated on me and got back with her ex, and you know, her ex was end up treating her bad. I'm so tired of this net. But her ex treated her bad. But with the effects of what happened with that, the effects of what happened with that turned me into a person that I did not want to see, because I didn't care anymore. I didn't care. I didn't care about nobody's feelings. Because I felt like, well, because this one particular person didn't care about my feelings, I didn't care about nobody else's feelings. So when I'm trying to date and I'm trying to be with, you know, someone or whatever, I didn't even care anymore. What was the use of caring if only thing that person is going to do is try to hurt me and harm me in a way emotionally where I felt like I cannot recover. And I allowed that person, that hurt, to control me and turn me into something that I didn't like. And it took me a long time to get out of that, feeling. So what I started to realize, and I had to change within myself, is first of all, I had to realize what was going on and what was hurting me. That was the first thing. Because I always feel like if you realize what's going on and you start to figure out, you know, this is very unhealthy what I'm doing. This is very unhealthy the way that I'm treating people. Because the way that I'm treating people it's not right. And once I started to realize the way that I was treating people wasn't right, that's when I said, you know what? It's time for me to get some help. And I wasn't afraid to go get help because I didn't want to be in the middle of something and with someone I absolutely love and treat them like trash at the same time. And I'm talking about, when I talk about trash, I'm talking about taking someone that you absolutely care about and you don't even recognize or realize that you're treating them lower than absolute total trash. You don't even realize it because you're so caught up into you, you're not realizing what you're doing to others. So when it comes to a woman who's probably been hurt, you could have been hurt by your dad. This is what is so valuable about this, is that we don't even recognize sometimes the hurt that we have when it comes to our family members. You could have been with a family member that, molested you. And so in the black community, especially when it comes to men, we never talk about that. We never talk about, molestation, and especially when it comes to men. And some people have literally been molested by women, and they have a certain way that they think when it comes to women. But it's never discussed because men, especially in the black community, is supposed to be a certain way. Let's be honest. We make men to be out a certain way where they can't express their the hurt and the harm and the dangers that goes on with them. They feel like they can't be vulnerable because we have treated them like their feelings don't matter. So when you get a person who has now been completely hurt and destroyed, and their mind is gone, and they feel like they're inadequate. They're inadequate, to life. They're going to, it's like hurt people hurt other people, and that hurt continues. So you got a woman with a good dude doing everything he can. He's being a good dude, but that woman is so hurt from her past, she don't even recognize that she's messing up the blessing that she has. She's literally messing up the blessing that she has. Now, I'm not saying all women do this. Don't go into the comment section and be like, he's talking about all women do this and all women do that. I don't even want to, that's not even what I'm going for. So I'm talking about when we have certain people who come on, who have been hurt, disillusioned by life. They feel like, and we hear now, we hear now boldly more with women now, that I don't need no man. I don't need this. I don't need that. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get mine. And then you meet a guy who wants to give you everything so you don't have to go get it, baby. He's willing to give it to you. And you turn around and you destroy that man. That happens. It's almost like if we start talking about toxic men, a woman's going to pull out, well, what about what men do? We're not talking about you right now. We do not step out sometimes and talk about what black men go through. Let's be honest. We do not talk about what black men go through. We want to, it seems like when we start talking about what black men go to, it's almost like how people say, well, what about all lives? And when we start talking about Black Lives Matter, well, what about my life? I'm not talking about your life right now. We're talking about men. Because that's the thing. It's so hard for a woman it's not a woman, some women to get over themselves to look at a black man. And vice versa. Sometimes black men can get out their own way to go get help. And that's the thing. I have these podcasts so you could be able to go get help. and to be able to recognize the hurt and the harm that goes with life. And if you've been ruined by a woman, if you a good dude, you done all you can, and you had a woman that got you, trust me, it gets preaching to the choir when it comes to that, because I've been through that. I've seen that. I've lived through it. But it's okay. See, this is the thing that I learned through therapy, is that it's okay that you've been hurt. It's okay. You're going to hurt. It's the way we internalize that hurt. Do we take that hurt? And this is for the women. This is for the ladies who feel like they don't love me, so I'm gonna get all I can get out of the deal and then break. It's okay for you to hurt. It's perfectly fine. It is natural for you to hurt. In the same breath, how do you take that hurt? Do you take that hurt and grow and learn from it and try to be a better person with it, internalize it, find out ways that you could be able to learn and grow? Or do you go out and try to get over on people because you internalize your hurt? And you don't know how to take that hurt and spread it and turn it into positive. Because energy is really our emotions is a set of energy that comes out and it becomes emotion. So you internalize the energy, all the energy that you have. When you're hurting, the energy towards that hurt is especially if it's a fresh wound, is an unstoppable force. Now, since everything that we do in life is energy, and we internalize that energy, and that energy becomes hurt, and that energy becomes emotion, how do you change? How do you turn that energy into something positive? Well, I will tell you again what I learned. First of all, recognizing the problem. Once you recognize your problem and recognize your hurt, and recognize the things that you've been through and that you're going through, you take that hurt, you take all of that, and you say, you know what? I'm not going to hurt nobody because I don't want to be hurt. That's the first thing. Looking at someone as you look at yourself. Second thing, you do something positive with that energy, because we don't have to lash out, but it's okay. I'm not saying it is not okay to lash out. It's how you lash out. So if you're hurt, and and you say, okay, well, I'm gonna write about this. I'm gonna write this into my journal. That's positive reinforcement. Setting the dude's car on fire and almost getting your eyebrows burnt out is not a way to handle the situation. As we seen with that young lady who doused that dude's car with gasoline, turned around and tried to set it on fire and almost blew her whole entire face off. That's not the way to do it. Now, did that dude probably deserve that? The way he was laughing on film, he probably did. You never know what he did. But I'm talking about, there's guys out there that I'm talking about, the good guy. And they always say good guys finish last. You need to have an edge on the guy. But why does a guy have to turn into something that he's not to be able to please you? Why can't he be himself? There's guys out here that is into the geek culture. I'm into the geek culture. I love the geek culture. That's just me. I've been into the geek culture for years. Is into the geek culture. Who ain't out here trying to be a thug? Who ain't out here trying to have his pants around his ankles, basically? You know what I mean? Who ain't trying to call women about their names and all of that? Who's really trying to be a good dude out here? Who's trying to think on a higher frequency level? To treat you the way that you need to be treated. Now, you can say, oh, well, you pick those people, so that's why you got. That's all. That's so messed up. Honestly, think about that. You go and meet someone, and you don't know what their intentions are, and their intentions turn around and be something completely opposite of what you wanted. That's life, though. That is completely life. That happens in life. So I always tell people when you're dating, if you're a good dude and you're trying to look for a good woman, number one, conversation rules the nation. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. My daddy had read Fillmore Slim's book. The first thing my daddy told me, told me this from the penitentiary. Conversation rules the nation. If you're not having a conversation with a woman and allowing her to tell you who she is, you could tell a lot by a person of what they say, not how they say it. It's just what comes out of their mouth. It's actually it's how they say it too, but it's what comes out of their mouth. You got to be able to put your rabbit ears on and be able to listen. And now, while you're listening, you need to listen to a woman's context clues. A woman gonna tell you everything that you need to know, everything that you need to hear. Ain't gonna be no ifs, ands, buts about it. She gonna tell you everything, off tops, what you need to know. Now, while she's telling you everything you need to know, you need to follow the rabbit hole and see where it goes and ask the right questions so she can be able to talk. Because the more people talk, the more they reveal themselves, the more they feel more comfortable. You could be able to break barriers down. See, the thing is, if you out here just trying to get through between a woman's legs, you have no idea what's between them legs. Y'all know if it's crazy or not. Now, if y'all discuss that and that's all it is, it's a totally different subject for another day. But I'm talking about if you're trying to date these women, talk to them first. Now, everybody got put on their representative. Let's not act like people don't. Everybody brings out their representative when they first meet someone. It's just like the movie Get Out. The girl put on her representative before she took her boyfriend to her mother's house, her mother and father's house, and then that's when the real tragedy started to happen. But these are the things that happen. You just got to be careful. But if it happens, it's okay. The whole enchilada meat tacos of it is it's okay. It's okay that you hurt. It's okay that you go through. All of that's fine. It's how you internalize it is the key factor in that. And that's really all I gotta say about that. So if you out here getting over on people, don't get mad when somebody get over on you. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It's what you put out in the atmosphere. It's the energy that you put out. We can all feel spirits and all of that. It's what you put out. If you put out negativity, you put out ignorance, you put out all this mess. I'm telling you, you gonna find it because you manifest it in the air. And believe me, anything that's manifested is gonna be birthed. And is it gonna be the baby that you want? That's the real key. And before I go, I want to talk about this back to school drive. There's a back to school drive that is going on. Let me see. Let me give you this. Okay, I'm gonna read this to you guys and let you know it's a back to school drive. We are collecting laptops for underserved youth in high school. All laptops must be swept clean before donated. Donated laptops are prohibited of having pictures or personal content. Laptops must have 2015. It be a 2015 or greater hard drive memory or 15 gigabytes or greater. We're also accepting both Mac and Windows laptops. The dates and times is August the 29th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. September 5th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. September 12th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. September 19th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The location is at Linwood YMCA and James B. Nutter Senior Community Center on 3800 Linwood Boulevard, Kansas City, Missouri, 64128. Students enrolled into our program will pick up their laptops on September 12th and September 19th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We would like to thank the Linwood Community Center for allowing us to host our back to school drive. For more information regarding our program, program enrollment, visit us at left dash brains. It's http / left dash brains dot mykajabi.com. That is left dash brains dot mykajabi.com. Or you could contact them at 816-301-6042. That's 816-301-6042. Or Inwood Dooley Family Charity at gmail.com. That's DOOLEY Family Charity at gmail.com. And I want to give me just a second. I hate when I go, when you're trying to get off something and then it clicks off like completely and you're trying to find it again and it takes you forever. That's exactly what's going on here. But this is also, I'm trying to think of the young lady's name. We've been communicating. I'm gonna get her on the show too. But we are, let me see. This is, let me see. Yeah, this is every Saturday. This is going on. A young lady named Tiffany. I can't think of her last name right now. Let me get a second and try to give you all the information that I possibly can on my page while I'm trying to work this internet. But again, there's a back to school drive. It is going to be announced on Praise 95 FM. So just check it out. If you're listening to Praise 95, they're going to be announcing the back to school drive too. So shout out to everyone who's working in the community. There's doing their thing. We need that type of stuff, especially in the community. And I really appreciate them letting me be able to announce that back to school drive on my show. So. And shout out to the Over 30 podcast. My homegirl, Tisha Marie. We had a conversation about what's going on. So I done got hooked up, and now my podcast on the video side is hooked up by StreamYard. So I appreciate Tisha Marie from the Over 30 podcast for doing that. And I'm going to get her on the show. I'm gonna steal her away from her show. With her and her crew, just to get her on so we can start talking about Zodiac Love. If anybody was watching my Zodiac Love videos, most definitely we're going to do a Zodiac Love podcast too, coming up real soon. So I used to be really, 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 really into astrology and astronomy. So I'm going to talk about that and talk about my journey with the astrology and astronomy, because I'm a stargazer. I love looking at the stars. So we're going to talk about that on Sunday. Normally we have the Legends of the Petty Nerds podcast. I'm going to see if we're going to still be able to do it on Sunday. But on Sunday, if we do the Legends of the Petty Nerd podcast, we're going to talk about nostalgia movies from the 80s. What's your favorite nostalgia movie? So if you guys like comic book movies, talking about that type of thing, talking about anything nerdy and geek, we talk about that on Sundays with the crew. So most definitely check us out when we do that podcast. And really, that's it. I appreciate everybody who stopped in. Make sure you guys are checking out that back to school drive. It is on my page. I will make sure to repost it again on the Dre Mac Show page. I love y'all. Peace. And thank you guys for tuning in to the Dre Mac Show. I love y'all. Shalom to everyone. All right, that ends the audio version of the podcast. Make sure you guys, if you want to check out the audio version, make sure you're checking it out on iHeartRadio, Speaker Radio, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts at, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts at. That's exactly where you're going to find the Dre Mac Show podcast. If you want to see continue the video version of or you want to see the video version of this is going on live, you can actually check this out on YouTube. I love y'all. Peace and shalom to everyone.